Israeli forces have seized control of the Gaza side of the Rafah border crossing. Tanks moved in on the area just hours after Hamas accepted the terms of a Qatari-Egyptian proposed ceasefire plan. Israel ultimately rejected the proposal, saying the deal didn't meet its standards. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab is following these developments from our London bureau. Importantly, Imtiaz, this crossing is where the aid was getting through. So let's talk about what Israel is saying about why they seized control of the Gaza side of the Rafah crossing, and if they're proposing any alternative to keep those civilians who need that aid alive.
Yeah, hey, Lilia, look, it's a very alarming situation on the ground in Rafah right now, where, of course, for months now, Israel has been warning that they will be launching an invasion of Rafah. And that's what they have done. Now, it's being described as limited. And of course, we've seen those images of those Israeli tanks rolling into Rafah for 1.3 million Palestinians have been sheltering. In fact, you can see there an Israeli tank driving over a sign that says, "I love Gaza." And we have to remember that Rafah, before October the 7th, was a relatively small place. Again, a border town, not a huge population. And now you have 1.3 million people there sheltering. And you have folks like Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, saying, Israel, you've closed Rafah, the one main crossing, along with Kerem Shalom, where aid was coming into this area, where people so desperately needed it, and now it's closed again, that it needs to be open, and people need to get that aid, especially if Israel's orders, and it has been to, I believe, around 50,000 or 100,000 people to move from the area of East Rafah to a place called Al-Masawiyah, which is essentially sand dunes. You know, in my previous reporting trips to Gaza, I've been to Al-Masawiyah, and it is a desolate area, which means there's no sanitation, there's no running water, and that's where so many people are crammed. And so Israel making it clear that whatever's going on in the background, that they've started at least a limited invasion of Rafah, as in their words, they try to dismantle Hamas once and for all. Lilia.
Israel has said that the Hamas-approved ceasefire proposal doesn't meet its demands. In fact, that the way that Hamas decided to say yes to this proposal was intended to torpedo the entry of the Israeli forces into Gaza. What's happening with the negotiations? How can they move forward now?
Yeah, Lilia, it's always so difficult to sort of talk about how these negotiations play out when we have to think about the fact that so many people could potentially be harmed. We have the hostages who for 7 months have been held in Gaza under horrible conditions, the very same conditions that so many Palestinians are living on, where 1.3 million people are crammed into the south, now fearing the kind of devastation we've seen throughout the Gaza Strip, in which some places are now experiencing famine, according to senior U.S. officials, including at USAID. And then it comes to these negotiations where really you have two sides, Israel and Hamas, negotiating with each other, and they're using these incursions or these moves or these phrases in order to get more concessions from each other. But really at the heart here, Lilia, are people, and they're the ones who are suffering as Israel and Hamas continue to not make a deal. Lilia.
Important to not lose sight of the humanity of those in that crossfire. Imtiaz, thank you so much.
Pleasure.